Hello. Welcome to the Reloading Podcast here on the Firearms Radio. No, your sound is not broken. I just decided to be dumb. I was trying to see if I could make Nick spray across his computer because he was drinking, but it did not work.
I'm not going to let that suck. There's some good whiskey in there, so.
Oh. Well, I didn't know it was whiskey. Otherwise, I wouldn't have done that to you. Anyway. Hello, welcome to the Reloading Podcast here on the Firearms Radio Network, presented by Patriot Patch Company and Camerado.com. And unofficially sponsored by your best record in baseball, Milwaukee Brewers. Anyway, sorry, had to rub that in the neck.
Don't matter. We won't be watching baseball next year anyway, so.
No, we won't. Thanks, Dodgers. Well, I can't blame them. They're working on the system they're in, but they pretty much just guaranteed it's going to be a lockout.
Yep.
Just think of the Brewers are on an even playing field next year.
Oh, jeez. Well, think of everybody on an even playing field, though.
Yeah, true. You know, I don't know why I'm not putting this on top of the monitor instead of on the tripod. Because the monitor's over here, tripod's here. And I keep, yeah. Because I'm dumb, that's why. So, I had a busy week with work and crap and all sorts of fun stuff. So I didn't really get anything done in reloading wise, other than getting ready for tonight. The noise you hear behind me is my RCBS Chargemaster Supreme learning the powder. So.
If it's running now, Mike, we don't even hear it. At least I don't.
No.
Oh.
I did do some 3D printing. I made some pen holders that we're going to try and sell. But while we were trying to troubleshoot, we were trying to figure out why the corners were coming up. And so I printed this cool little thing. And this is 3030. They make them for all sorts of different cartridges, but I mean, it took me, 2 hours, I think, to print it. So, and they fit in here real nice until you got a projectile on them, and they're a little wobbly, but even then they're not falling out. So that was fun. Yeah, and this is, so for our Discord, we have a 3D printing chat, and then we also have a second 3D printing channel that I created that we're trying to get all of the, if you have a STL or a different type of file that you want to share, you can put it in there. So like I put this 3031 in here that I got from Billy Nagy. We've put a bunch of other stuff in there. So, but I mean, yeah, not having to spend a lot of effort to make this. I just, set the printer and sent it to print overnight and woke up in the morning, it was done. So that was kind of nice. But what learning does is it throws random preset powder charges at full speed, trickling, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so your powder dispenser is a little more accurate. Most of them have it. I don't know about the super fancy ones, but I would imagine it does. So, but the reason I'm doing that is because I wanted to charge all my cases so I can see the rest of the bullets when I'm done with the show tonight. So that way I can go to the range, not this week, but next week. And because this weekend we're going to the state fair, we're going to redneck it up. So, my main printer now is a FlashForge 85M. So, I originally started with the Ender 3 that Drew Bowers gave me, and we just never, it's an Ender. So Enders are kind of like the Lee of 3D printers, shall we say? I think that's a fair assessment. They don't work out of the box. You got to play with them and tinker with them, and eventually, if you spend enough time and patience, and you can get them to do decent stuff. I mean, they're not going to be fantastic, but whereas this 85M out of the box was good to go, other than the fact that it really, for some of the bigger stuff I'm printing, really needs an enclosure to keep the heat consistent. So Billy's printing me a cool World War II themed out of ABS. But in the meantime, I just took some aluminum foil and wrapped it around there. So I rednecked it up pretty good. So, Nick, what you been up to?
Not much. I went to the range Friday after work. Was planning on shooting in a match on Saturday. It was a military rifle bolt action match, but I ran into some issues with the rifle, so that didn't happen. Other than that, didn't do much. Dad and I went to a gun show Saturday, and then just kind of got some more stuff for his finish up his vault on Sunday. So that's been about it.
Actually, I lied. I did do something Thursday night. But I'll let Ken talk about it. So, Ken, what'd you do?
Oh, let's see. The standard stuff, shot matches over the weekend. And Thursday I shot a match. Loaded my 9mm that I needed for the match. Got some new mags in. Shot first time in a long time. So I've only ever shot one single stack Steel Challenge match. And so I did that this past weekend. Shot it again. First time I ran a Springfield Arms 1911, had all kinds of malfunctions. So I don't even know how I would have shot back then, but I know I wouldn't have shot as well as I shot this weekend. And then, so shot that for the first time. Shot E-level match, which was kind of the goal. I was hoping to maybe shoot a little better than that, but, I was minimum B, and I shot a B. So achieved that goal. And Mike and I shot last week on Thursday. We went to North Bristol. They had a kind of like we had their weekly match, and they promoted it a little bit because it was basically show up, pay your fee, shoot the match, get your money back. And the winner got a little extra cash, and they had somebody 3D printed a trophy. And after the match, we went and hung out at the club bar, and we had a good time.
Yeah, it was definitely a blast. Honestly, I think given the fact that I hadn't shot since March, I think I did pretty good. So, but the fact that I showed up late, kind of was a little frustrating on my part because I made sure that my 1022 was in my long gun case. And I grabbed the case I thought that was my pistol case. But it turns out it was my dagger case, not my 22 pistol. So I had to run around looking for that. And then it turns out that all of the 22 rounds that I thought I had weren't here, and I think one of my boys took them and shot them up. So, or I'm getting part-timers, and I shot them up and didn't remember. So I had to swing by Bass Pro on the way out and grab that. So that made me a little late, but thankfully it wasn't too late, so I could still shoot. And I didn't hold anybody up. That was a cool thing. So at least I didn't hold anybody up. That was, if it was a case I would have been holding people up, then I wouldn't have bothered, because I don't want to do that to people. So, but learned an important lesson to open the cases, make sure the right gun's in there. So, but I didn't finish last, so I was happy about that. But I learned a trick from Ken. When I'm shooting, do this. So.
Well, that's if your glasses are fogging up and you can't keep it clear.
They
were rather muggy.
Yeah, it was pea soupish at some points in time. So
What's the heat up out of the top of your glasses so I get stuck under the bill?
yeah, so it was the first time shooting a match with those. I mean, I'd shot at the range a couple times with my Hunter's HD Gold, so it's learning curve. But even with them being fogged, it still wasn't bad to the point where I couldn't see the targets. So that was impressive. I mean, if my normal glasses fog up, forget it. Especially in lighting conditions we were in. So
you can also the little container of blue stuff that he sent with the glasses.
yeah.
If you bring that with you, and if it's particularly bad, you can put that on. It helps keep the fog from being.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, I think next time I'm make sure I turn my hat around or take it off completely, and that'll be a big thing. So, but yeah, that was fun. So, I'm definitely
next Thursday or this Thursday too.
Yeah, this Thursday I'm gonna be busy. So, but I'm definitely gonna finally break down and put the optic on the carry pistol or on the 22 pistol.
Okay, why?
Shooting like I was doing, where I was literally, switching guns right after and shooting the same targets immediately that quick, kind of made me realize that I am so much quicker with looking at the optic than I was trying to line the sights up with my shooting capabilities now. Now, Ken and I were talking, and I am going, as soon as I get the money, I'm going to the introductory pistol class at Vortex. And actually going to learn how to properly shoot a pistol because I don't know how. So I'm kind of using the optic in lieu of for competition.
So the optic's always going to be faster,
right?
I mean, there's only a handful of people that are going to shoot irons on par with optics, and that's rare. And it's not going to be all the time.
No. So, yeah, I mean that's kind of at this point in time. I'm until I can dedicate the effort to properly learning how to shoot a pistol for competition's sake. That's what I'm gonna do. Now, as far as at the range and as far as accuracy with regular irons on a regular pistol, I'm average, but at the same time, I'm not. I can put a magazine for my carry gun at trying to remember what it is up at Circus City. I want to say it's 20 yards, but I can put them all inside a 5-inch circle. So not where I need to be, but in the event. But so anyway. So Nick, what are you looking at right now?
Just searching the internet. So I took the one case that I primed last week and I popped the primer out of it. And the reason I did that is because when you're loading, you make a dummy round. Wrong thing. Whoops. I'll get it figured out here. So, I'm gonna show this off quick though. So, can you see the display at all in that picture?
No, it's just green.
Okay. How about now?
Yep.
It kind of has a little bit of a glare on it, but it's not horrible.
Come on. Here. Really? Figures. Ah, there we go. I think maybe. Come on. Is the glare still there?
Nope.
Not as bad. Anyway. Okay, so basically this is the Chargemaster Supreme. And right now I've actually got it hooked up to my phone. So this is my phone screen. And I can actually dispense the powder from here. Right now it's showing me that it is dispensed. So I take my Lyman funnel, I set it on like that, and pour it like that. And I've got it set for auto. So theoretically, I think I waited too long.
Why is it not showing you the charge weight on the screen?
That's what I'm trying to figure out here.
I would throw that charge you just dumped back.
It was showing it on the phone.
Okay.
But yeah. But we'll do that anyway. So I think it's because I waited so long. And I'm jealous, Swinging Hammer. You're bringing Panda Express. I want Panda Express.
I'm jealous of Panda Express.
We don't have a Panda Express here. It's Janesville's closest place. So.
Okay. Well, let's talk about your poor taste, Mike.
Hey, don't knock Panda Express. It's got some
really bad Chinese rip-off food. Sure.
Panda. See, the thing is, there really isn't true good Chinese in most of, well, especially Wisconsin. Let's be honest.
There are a few places that are decent, but
yeah.
It's not many.
No.
Oddly enough, there's places where you can get good. You're not going to get good Chinese, but they might have one dish that's actually tolerable. But I would put Panda Express at the bottom of any list. So.
Yep. So I've now got it set on auto. So theoretically, it should throw the charge again. Andy, no, I did not double charge the case. I emptied it. But for fun,
no, you better double check, Mike. You've been doing other stuff and being distracted. You really shouldn't be charging cases and doing other stuff.
Let's see, that's the beautiful thing is I know exactly which one I've charged and which one I haven't. But what you can do if you're like me and you're trying to do a demonstration for your podcast while you're loading and people are concerned you're charging cases, double charging cases, first off, you can move your case to a different row once it's charged. But I'm going to show you what happens when you try and double charge one of these cases.
You got enough of a charge that it actually fills it up.
Ta-da! Powder all over the place. So
speaking of powder all over the place, and just remembering your proclivity to burn yourself, I had a bunch of bees decide to take over a hole in the ground in my yard, and I poured probably, I don't know, I'd say it's like close to a quarter pound, maybe a little bit more of gunpowder into the hole and lit it.
Nice.
Yeah, I had a nice, like 3 to 4 foot tall kind of conflagration for about 20 seconds, maybe a little less than that.
Nice.
It was cool. The bees are gone,
That's good.
and nobody got burnt.
Well, it's because I wasn't there.
Yeah, well,
So.
it went well.
So what you can do to minimize your double charging of cases if it's a concern is like I'm doing, moving the cases to a different row, but also put your funnel on the next case before you do anything else. And no, it's not Varget, it is IMR 4064. So,
Why'd you choose IMR over Varget?
because for starters, I have a lot more IMR 4064.
That's a good reason.
For second, it's 3030, and I thought that the performance on the IMR 4064 seemed to be a little better on the 3030 than the Varget did. But I do have a pound of Varget if this doesn't produce the results I want it to.
Well,
I also have
if it's going to be a
3031.
hunting load, you'll be able to. You won't need a full pound to last you several years.
Yeah. Not at like 28 or 30 grains per charge. So. Basically, I want 10 cases that we're going to seat bullets in. So. And what I did do is I got rid of the cases that I had charged last week. I actually dumped those out so they're not part of this mess. So. But this is the Lyman funnel kit, and for the money, it's not bad. I mean, there's better funnel kits out there. The Matchmaster funnel kit's amazing, but there's other ones out there that are kind of in between price-wise that are pretty good too. So.
I think once you get into the aluminum ones, they're all pretty close in overall functionality. I mean, there might be some value for some of the higher end ones that you're not getting, but it's small.
Right. Yeah, I mean, some of it is how the adapters connect. Like Lyman, it's just got an O-ring that pushes in. The Matchmasters screw in. There's a couple other ones that screw in. So. But So this one here stopped at 28.5. So
What's your charge weight you're going for?
28.7.
28.5 is fine then.
So
You're not going to see enough of a difference between 28.5 and 28.7 to make it worth your while.
probably not.
At least not in that. I mean, you get into high-end performance stuff, maybe, but even then, I'm not entirely convinced that the 0.2 of a grain is going to make enough of a difference to really count.
Interesting. 0.2 under, 0.2 over.
Yeah, that's the your tolerance on that. You're not, you're going to be 0.2 over, 0.2 under. That's fine. I mean, my mine is 0.02 over under, right? So
Right. But the point is, this thing should be more accurate than that.
well, I would say for the price of the Charge Master, yes.
Because this is the Supreme. This isn't the Light.
Yeah, I know. The Supreme's the expensive one, right?
This is the middle one. This one's like
Okay.
like 400.
Not the Match Master.
It's not the Mass Master that's 1,000. No.
Okay.
Now, full disclosure, RCBS did give Nick and I both of these to test, and we've shown them on the show and stuff. So.
There's nothing. Listen, I think that they are decent.
Mm-hmm.
For like the quality you're getting in that particular setup, right? It's good enough, like for almost any use case, right? And you could potentially use it in F class. Now the F class guys don't, right? They're going to tell you it's not good enough, but
Right.
they're chasing what they're chasing. But there's a lot of F class guys that were shooting F class for years using a Charge Master, right?
Exactly.
So
former co-host Jeremy Rowland's one of those that had the original Charge Master. So.
My thing is with my knock against, and the reason why I probably wouldn't go with the RCBS is that their price is kind of in between the premium offerings, the top end premium offerings. They're closer to those, and you're not getting that much more value over some of their competition.
Yep.
If any value over their competition. And that's my only knock, is I think the price point for what they're offering, it either needs to be a better option for the price, or it needs to be a lower price.
Right.
Because I think you can get a just as good for less option.
Yep. So COL or COAL, depending on who you want to call it, on this is 2550. So, and
now that's max.
Huh?
Is that max?
No, it's cartridge overall length.
Yeah,
with a seated bullet.
Well, that's going to depend. I mean, so I guess, how are you getting that number, Mike?
From the load data.
Okay. So usually that is that the cartridge overall length or max cartridge overall length? That's what I'm asking.
Well, nobody really gives a max overall length. It's usually just standard COAL or COL, depending on how they want to call it. Most of your load data that's out there is not going to have a max. So, and it's just like most of your load data is not going to have a magazine COAL. Now, it's out there, and you can find it with certain load datas and stuff. Certain companies will do that. But as a typical general, most of your reloading data isn't going to have... It's going to go to whatever the SAMI spec is for it, and not specifically a max. Because technically, max is determined by chamber and how your, what your chamber's cut with, and your jump from the lands or to the lands and grooves, and you can seat your bullet longer than a standard length if you're trying to get it to rest on the lands and grooves and that type of thing. But for these purposes, we're doing basic, and so you're just going to use your standard COAL. Which I'm trying to find 3030 in here currently. I don't remember where the hell it is. So it's the only problem with Sierras. There we go. It's kind of a pain to find. So now Sierra doesn't. The Hornady is the 160 grain, so Sierra's only going to give me what they make a bullet in, which is 150 and 170. So for their 150 grain, it's 2.25 or 2.520, and that's given the bullet length. And that's the same for their 170 grain. So, but when you look at their 125 grain, it's 2.420. And then when you look at SAMI specs is 2.550. So you got all these different. So you want to pair. Worst case scenario.
You want to pull it from the bullet manufacturer. That's where you want to get your cartridge overall length from. Yeah. Because it's going to vary depending on the bullet, because the bullet itself is going to vary.
Exactly. So.
Sammy's only going to tell you what the specs are for the chamber as being acceptable for manufactured offerings, right? You can always get a custom chamber, like if you want a longer,
like on your one gun, where you've got a custom chamber.
Well, it's not even a custom chamber. That's a Wildcat completely.
Right.
There is no chamber for that.
So.
At least there isn't yet. I don't know if they've ever pushed for it, but
probably not. So when I actually look up in the Hodgdon manual for the 160 grain FTX, your actual COAL is 2.535. So. Or Hornady, not Hodgdon. So.
Are you loading Sierra or Hornady bullets?
I am loading Hornady. My Sierra book was closer. So that's why I pulled that up. So.
But that's the wrong book, Mike.
Correct. I was using it for demonstration purposes, not for specifics, which is why I found my Hornady. So, but first off, so what we want to do is when we're setting up our seating die, we need a empty case with no primer, so we can make a dummy round. And the key why you have it with a no primer is so there's no primer, no powder, so it can be easily identified the fact that it's an inert round.
And even
So
if you stick it in the gun, it won't go bang. And then
exactly.
give you a squib.
Yep. So
Squibs are bad.
yes.
I hate that.
So
I've
do
only
I.
had to clear out two, so.
So how you set up your
None since I moved to the Mark 7.
yeah, I would hope you wouldn't have squibs.
Well, the X10 I had squibs with. It was the only time I ever had squibs. So, although I'm still not sure how I did it. A while back, I got a double charge on my Mark 7, and I don't know how I managed to keep it.
That is weird.
But my powder sensor said, "Hey, this is not right," and stopped the machine. Of course, I was in the middle. I think I troubleshot a different problem, and somehow it generated. I'm still just couldn't quite figure out how it managed to throw a double charge in that. Just like sometimes it annoyingly advances the shell plate on me, and it's like, no, I don't want to move it because that means that piece is going to go there, and it's not going to get crimped. And
So when we're setting up a seating die, it's a little different than your standard die, your resizing die. Resizing die, you just run it to the shell holder, go quarter turn, and away you go. For a seating die, it's a little different. And what you need to do is you need to make sure that the case mouth is touching the die in the right place. And so what I will do if I can't, sometimes you can feel it when it hits. Sometimes you can't. And so what I will
are you
do,
going to be measuring shoulder bump at all?
huh?
Are you going to be measuring shoulder bump at all?
We already sized them.
Okay. So that you did that before. Never mind. Sorry.
No, you're fine. No, we didn't really do that in sizing. We just did a basic full case. So once you get it so it's touching, lock your lock ring because you don't want the body of the die to move anymore. Unless you're going to crimp, and then that's a whole different thing. I'm not going to do that because I will be crimping with my factory crimp die. So, which is a whole different setup. Normally, you don't have to crimp on a lot of things, but this is a 30-30. It's going in a tube-fed magazine, and I do not want to have to clean powder out of that magazine because it sucks. So, and if you want to, give me crap or whatever for deciding that I'm going to do that, well, that's fine. Sometimes
you
you
want us to
don't.
give them crap for it, Mike? I mean, we can.
Well, I would
If you
expect
want.
nothing less from our listeners. So, but there are certain cases where it is highly beneficial, dare I say, semi-mandatory to crimp. Obviously, if you're doing pistol and you're flaring the case to make it easier to put your lead cast bullets in, you're going to want to crimp, but you're only crimping to deflare the case mouth, essentially.
You're going to crimp if you're doing copper.
So, yeah, I mean, if you're flaring the case mouth, yes, you're absolutely going to crimp. So, so now what you do is, and you can do this before, is you seat a bullet, run it all the way back up, and so this is, if you seat your bullets and you get a little ring around it, it's because of where this contacts and how this contacts the bullet. So what some people will do is they'll use a hot glue gun and press their particular bullet into this and let it cool. And then you have a custom seating stem, or you can actually order seating stems. So what I want to do is I want to turn this down, and at some point in time, I will feel it stop. Or if I'm cranking too hard, because this is kind of rough threads, you can seat the bullet too. But in this case, I'm not. So you kind of, so there I hit the bullet. So that is absolute just touching. So now what I want to do is if you can get the bullet to stay in there, you can measure the overall and see what it is, and then that gives you an idea of how much you need to adjust. At least a guesstimate, so you don't over adjust, because you always want to under adjust, not over adjust. So I'm at 2.984, and I need to go to 2.535. So that means there's going to be quite a bit of adjustment. Paul tried to show me one night using this and setting like that, and I wasn't smart to figure out. So maybe if you watch that show when we did bullet seating a couple of years ago, you can figure it out. But this is what I do, is I will just turn it down. I'm going to probably go 2 full turns because I know that I've got a huge amount to go. So I will run that up. And as you can see, the bullet's now in there, but it's nowhere near where it needs to be. So what I can do is I can measure, and I don't even know if you guys can see these numbers, but now we're at 293, so basically we didn't really do much. So now I know I need to really take a big swing at it. So I'm going to back that locking ring up, and I'm probably going to go about 2/3 of the way. Run that back up in, and check it again. Nick, what you looking at?
Scopes.
Well, share with the class.
I'm just looking for so Dad ordered parts the other day, or last night, or no, Sunday night, for a we're building out a clone, or as close to be clone as a Mark 12 Mod 1. So it's going to have a Knights Armament rail, OpSync muzzle brake. We're just trying to find the right optic for it now. So we're looking in the 3-18 by 44 range right now.
So Billy came in and spoiled my taking wild swings at it by actually giving me actual numbers. Dang him. And so it's 0.055 per full revolution on how much you go. So,
I just thought of something that I forgot to mention earlier. I was going to mention. My FFL got approved officially.
your FFL got approved?
I got all the paperwork I need to buy and sell and manufacture other than destructive devices.
Congratulations. So we're at 2.7 now. From 2.9. So here's a question. What happens if my bullet seating stem is cranked all the way down? What do I do then?
Over the body.
Right, you are, Chief. Actually, if I remember correctly, the last time I did this, I couldn't get it to seat full enough down. I wound up using my 308 die.
That sounds about right.
So, or I think I wound up using my 308 stem. I don't remember.
So why would you need to use your 308 stem on your 3030?
Because I think the 308 stem was longer.
But why in this case would your 3030 stem not work the way you need it to?
That is a question. So, my guess is it's probably not made for the bullet design. So, that would be my guesstimation. And we'll find out real quick if that's what I did last time.
That's the case.
Huh?
If that's the case, it would make sense to maybe reach out to Hornady and order the correct die at some point.
Well, the problem is, it is the correct die.
Well, it's the correct die for a 3030, but you might need the correct stem, so you may have to...
Oh, I'll have to get a hold of Redding, because that's what these are. So, and no, this wasn't set for that. Because as soon as I cranked it in, it didn't which really sucks. Did I get it? I thought I bought... It's 760 by 39, so that won't work. .30-30 stem is designed for flat point or fat or ogive bullets in the FTX, so that would make sense then. But so this would be a case where I'd want to use the glue gun and make a stem. What I'm looking for is, I thought, and after this happened last time, I thought I bought a 30-30 die, a different set. It's 303 British. .30 add 6. It's Lee dies, so not 6.5 by 284 Winchester. Interesting. So, anyway,
you get a barrel for that.
Huh?
You get a barrel for that.
Yes, I do. Only slightly shot out. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. That's a trim die for something. So, anyway. So that all went to shit in a handbasket.
So, basically, if you had the stem you needed, you would seat your die and you would slowly but surely bring it down to where you need it to. As you
Correct.
got closer and closer, each time you would make smaller and smaller adjustments as you adjusted it lower. So you got it. Now, you're then going to load your next round, and you're going to make sure that it's seated the way you needed to, because part of the problem with taking it down slowly is you're inducing inconsistent pressure, and you may not be seating deep enough, or you may be seating too deep by the time you get there, and you may have to readjust. The good news is, on your next live round, because it's going to be real close, if it's a little long, you can seat it deeper. If it's a little short, that's okay too. It'll still function as long as it's not drastically short.
Mm-hmm.
And it may function just fine in the gun a little long. Because most manufacturers use SAMI spec as a guideline, and they tend to leave a little bit enough of a tolerance there that you can go over or under and be fine.
I have 300 blackout. And I don't know if I have 30 carbine or not. But I don't know. This is the 7.62 by 39. Might work. And the reason it might work is because we care about the stem, not cartridge in this case. So, but it's not going to work. So, maybe. So Viejo 2A said one of the important things, if your round is shorted a little, if your round is seated a little short, you can bring it out, and then that's what happens when you try and use the wrong feeder, is you crush the case. So anyway, so it looks like I need to find a different seating stem for my 30-30. And that's that. So what I will do is I will actually get the glue gun out and make a custom seating stem. So is what I will do. Because the seating stem diameters are not, or the thread diameters are not the same on these. So I can't just pull it out and swap it. And now I can't even get this back in there. For fuck's sake. Anyway. Yeah, most of your gun barrels are limited by your throat, or your magazine, not your throat. So how the factory crimp die works is it has what they call a stab crimp. So basically, as you push up, this collet squeezes in. So, and the actual destructions, which part are missing. Weird. Not that it matters. So they don't need a crimp groove. Excuse me. Trim length isn't critical, however, be certain your cases are no longer in the specifications. So you screw the factory die, crimp die in, and that goes on the top, that goes on the bottom. So you screw this down, take your cartridge out, run your ram up, you run it down until it touches the shell holder. And so that there. Bring your ram down, and what they say is go a half a turn. Oh yeah, I forgot I got that.
Now, before you run that up, make sure you're measuring the outside of your case with your calipers real quick. See how much you're crimping.
Yep.
You also don't want to over crimp.
No. So finger tighten the lock ring, it locks the die into the press. And it says don't try for over maximum crimp because you'll damage it. So, but what you want to do is you measure your case. So I've got, and you want to, when you're measuring, this is one of the times you want to make sure you're pressing to getting firm contact. So I've got 0.327. So I'm going to run this back up. And from the feeling, it sure feels like it didn't just squat. So turn my calipers back on. And I'm at still 327. So now what I will do is I will loosen the lock ring. And I will do a quarter turn. JT Schwinghammer wants to know what everybody's thought is on crimping for bolt actions. I would say typically, unless it's a big monster, probably don't need it. If it's hunting ammo and you want to just be on the safe side, no harm, no foul. So, still at 0.327.
I'd say no.
Huh?
Unless there's a specific reason for it, like you said, like in this case, a tube-fed thing. Most of your pistol rounds where you're flaring a case. If you're using properly sized dice or using a sized die and all of that, you really don't need to crimp.
No.
Unless you're doing some kind of funky thing or you're going outside of some kind of norm, there's no reason to crimp. Not on a bolt. I don't crimp on my AR, on my 6R.
All right, so if you look right below the cannelure, you can see, it'll focus. I don't know if it'll focus or not. This is my iPhone, so you would think it would focus, but yes, I have an iPhone. No, it's not new. It's a 12. And it was given to me by my kid. I wouldn't buy one. You can see underneath there is a crimp. So
How much did you crimp?
it is at 0.321.
And what was it when before?
0.327. So Semper Paratus 762 said dangerous game rifles is the only time I would crimp for a bolt gun. I would agree. Maybe 300 Win Mags.
I don't even think you need 2 with 300 Win Mag.
Yeah, I don't really think you do either. So I'm just kind of tossing that out there as a possibility.
I'm getting texts from Paul because he's apparently watching the show and sniping from the cheap seats. All right. Basically, he said dangerous game rounds should be crimped because the recoil can force the bullet back into the case.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that's more the consideration in something like that is you don't want setback. So
Oh, he's watching. He doesn't have power. He's probably watching from his phone.
yeah,
I'd be a bitch to type. That's why he's. Although he managed to
exactly.
send it to me.
Yeah. So anybody think I could fire farm this back? No.
Well, is there powder in it?
No.
No.
I could feed it through the primer hole.
Well, okay, then maybe.
Oh, it never chamber.
Well, what you do is you take and get yourself a thin rod. It'll fit into the primer hole.
Yeah.
Hammer the bullet out, and then get some pliers on both ends and pull it straight.
I like that idea. But I would actually just use my Frankfurt Arsenal pile driver to get the bullet unseated.
Yeah, but that's not freaking stupid.
Right. It's fun.
Imagine trying to drive a bullet out of a case with whatever rod you could shove down into a primer hole. That's even almost as ridiculous as straightening the case out with 2 pair of pliers.
But if I leave the bullet in there while I'm trying to straighten the case, that'll give me extra purchase on the brass.
Well, there you go. Well, there you go. Use your pile driver and see when you're pulling the bullet. If you lock that thing down tight enough, maybe you can pull it straight.
That'd be funny.
I mean, I doubt it, but you can try.
Right. Eric, we were trying to seat bullets, but my Reading dies for 30-30 will not seat my
Hornady bullets.
my Hornady 160 grain GTXs. So now we are done with what we were going to talk about. But I did show how to use a Lee factory crimp die successfully. And as stated, the reason that I would do that is because it is in a lever action.
And again, you might not even have to do that, but it does make sense with the tube fed. I mean, if you're getting it seated deep enough, but a lot of those that are the bullets, and I think yours even, that Hornady bullet, does that have a crimp ring on it?
Yeah, it's got a canneler.
So if it's got any bullet that's got a crimp ring on it, crimp it.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I will have to find our glue gun. I think it's up in my wife's craft crap, and then I'll make that and yada yada. Should we do that on the show?
If you want, it's
Nick?
you're kind of the host, so.
What's that?
Should we show how to use a glue gun to make a custom seating stem next week?
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
All right then. So Semper Paratus 762 said hydroform it, fill it with water, and freeze it. That'd be fun. So yeah, it also depends on where they had space on. So straight wall cartridges, straight wall cases. Clifford Zach asked about should they be crimped. I don't know. Crimping it really is like cheese. It's mission specific.
I would so the straight walls makes a lot more sense because a lot of times you're going to put a slight flare on them to get the bullet to seat right,
Right.
especially if you're using a progressive,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because you need that flare for the bullet to sit in right in a straight wall cartridge.
Yeah.
So the straight wall makes sense in a lot of ways.
It does. But
Not
for
that I
those of
have
you
a ton
wondering
of
why
experience.
why am I having problems? This is a standard 30-30 bullet when those dies were made. So I should see if Redding makes a different stem for that.
Oh, I'm sure they do, and I guarantee a Hornady does, and you probably pick one up inexpensively.
Yeah, I don't know if the Hornady one would fit inside the Redding die, though.
No, you could probably get the Hornady die.
Yeah. I could probably get a lead eye for that cheaper, too.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, I still want one of those hand mortars, Nick. Hey, Titan Reloading's back up. Let's see what a set of lead eyes cost. Ooh, they make a micrometer die now. So Lee's getting into the game with the micrometer dies. Holy crap. So the pace setter dies now come with the micrometer full-length seating dies. Huh. Leave it to Lee. $42.99 for a set of pace setters. And it comes with the micrometer seating die.
There you go.
It also comes with a factory crimp die. Dope. Anyway. Yeah, Viejo 2A said glue seat stems can be a real-time money saver. They don't tend to last very long, but the price is right. So, yeah. But anyway. Oh, well, that's important information. Eric Gale, 1911, said, I'm not happy with the micrometer seating die from Lee. The 360 Buckhammer set came with it, and I can't seat most bullets within it. So that's not good. Well, forget that then. Because that's the problem we have right now.
So, I would, before you order anything, I would reach out to Hornady's customer service and confirm what seating stem you need. Because you may be able to just order the seating stem from Redding, right? But you need to confirm or reach out to Redding and say, hey, I've got this. I'm using these new fancy dancy bullets from Hornady. which are designed to essentially allow you to use a ballistic tip without, potentially having the one round detonate another in the tube.
Right.
So, which, conceivably allows you to shoot at farther ranges than what you could traditionally shoot with a 30-30.
So, Eric said I ended up seating the bullets with my 357 seater and crimped with a factory crimp die. So that's what he wound up doing. Yeah. Yeah, the seating dies can be hit or miss. Just like most things, Lee, they can be good, they can be shit. So
That's why people call the Redding or Hornady or whoever you want. Like, if you got your dies are set up for 30-30, call Redding up and say, hey, this is what I got. This is my issue.
right.
I mean, yes, you can use the glue stick as a temporary fix, and it will work.
Mm-hmm.
But like it was pointed out, it's not a permanent fix, and also you're inducing some inconsistencies that you may not want.
Right. So the biggest thing that I've seen in the past is people not making sure the glue gets time to cure, shall we say, before they start using it. So they'll slam it in there, and then immediately they'll start seeding bullets with it. Well, hot glue, when you melt it, still needs to cool to harden, to reform in its original shape or original composition. And if you start using it too soon, it's still soft and you're pushing on it. So I will be right back. I have to go to the restroom. So talk amongst yourselves.
So what you been up to, Nick?
Not much. Just staying busy with work's the big thing. Gonna try to get some ammo loaded this week for sure.
I don't think I got a match this weekend, so I'll probably try to get some ammo loaded ahead of. I want to try to get ahead. Got a major match coming up in about a month, so I want to stay ahead on that. Be able to have some practice ammo too. So, like I
Yeah,
said,
I gotta get.
recently added single stack to my repertoire of competing. So,
Yep. Yeah, I want to get either some 54R ammo loaded up, and then we're going to get some 8mm loaded up to shoot Dad's new rifle he picked up a couple weeks ago. So
yeah, I did changed out the spring from a 13-pound spring on that pistol to a 10, and running about 120 power factor. So, nice soft shooting. I mean, if I'm standing there on a flat range trying to shoot bug holes in paper, I notice the recoil, but at a match, I don't notice it. It's that soft. I mean, I am compensating for it, but it's one of those things where it's just in the moment you don't think about it.
yeah,
Kind of like hunting big game with using a hunting rifle that's got a lot of kick. That first shot, you don't notice it. It's the second, third, or fourth where you're like, that just sucks, right? But
yep.
when the adrenaline's pumping, who cares? Okay. But yeah, I started experimenting with lighter bullets versus the heavier ones. Because I was running 147s for a long time. And I didn't really need them for the PCC. And I don't need them for this. So, I mean, I'm still loading. I'm a little underbooked for the bullets I'm running. I'm running 115 hollow base. I need to get those chronoed and see what I'm running at, just to kind of get curious. But I actually did chrono at 120. We come out to 120, so the gun will run 115 power factor, but the brass it doesn't dribble out, but it does not. It's got maybe like at the top end 6 inches of clearance to the outside of the gun. That's a little too risky, You're traversing that way, and then maybe catch a extra bullet and don't let it quite clear the gun. So. Somebody asked what number of the season. Oh, Mike's looking it up. Somebody's asking what the number of the season stem is. For those that are not on Facebook.
There is no visible number. Oh, wait a minute. 3. Is that it? Or is there more? My phone.
Well, that sucks, Raggle Fraggle. That the last month's match got canceled, and I don't know. I'd have just taken my daughter to the range to shoot a match on her birthday, but it was always worked that way. But that'd be the hope. There may be other matches. You can also check out Rimfire Challenge if you're shooting rimfire. Either pistol or Rimfire Challenge requires you to shoot a pistol and a rifle. It's very similar to Steel Challenge. It doesn't have the classification system, but it's still gonna be fun. That's what Mike and I shot last Thursday. I tend to not like the Rimfire Challenge, at least the bigger matches, because there's just too much sit around time. So if you go up, you shoot, and you're sitting forever. The pacing is and it's great. You're sitting around, you're talking. Looks like you need a number 20, Mike. But the pacing in between stages is real slow. First one I ever shot was at North Bristol. They have and Mike you might want to check that out. They've got the double header coming up. I think it's the second weekend of September. Columbus and then North Bristol. It's 2 separate matches. You can sign up for one or both. They got really good prize tables. I think they do a random draw for the prize table. But anyways, went and shot that. And fortunately, North Bristol is like 15, 20 minutes from my house. And I'm shooting the match, and there's no place to sit. And I was like on the second or third stage, and my feet, it's like no place to sit, and you're standing, and it's taking forever. And unfortunately, I called my wife up, and I was like, "Hey, Cheryl, grab a folding chair and bring it to the range, please. Thank you." So that was nice. But otherwise, they're a lot of fun. Meet a lot of great people.
Nope, that's a 7.
All right, so for an NRL match, you're gonna want either. I'm assuming it's an NRL 22, so you're gonna want either a bolt action or a semi-action auto 22. You're gonna want to be able to load at least, I think it's 10 rounds. There might actually be, depending on the rule set, you might only be able to shoot 10 rounds, and I think that could be a stage thing too. In some stages, you may be able to shoot more than that. I don't know. It's been a while since I've never actually shot an official NRL. Realistically, show up at the match with what you got. Don't worry about equipment, especially right now. You don't want to buy equipment.
Right.
You want to show up at the match and find out what they're running because you're probably going to need a bag. Somebody will loan you a bag. If you need a tripod, somebody will loan you a tripod. If you got these things, then bring them by all means, right? But don't buy anything for any like NRL match. Now you can also there's plenty of places out there, YouTube stuff like that, where you can find videos on this that will tell you kind of give you an idea of what you need. Um, but yeah, so just bring what you got, right? It's I mean, if you show up at a major, you might not necessarily want to bring what you got. Find a local small competition, NRL 22, whatever. Now the NRL guys basically are running the same thing as the PRS guys, right? The difference is you're using a 22 versus a center fire. But competition wise, they're very, very close. You're going to see the same kind of obstacles, stuff like that you're going to shoot off from, stuff like that. So it show up. All you got to do is show up. And I don't care what the competition is. Here's the thing: even if you don't own the gun, right? Just show up and say, "Hey, I'm interested." Likely, you're going to at least get to try one person's gun on one stage, so that way you can get a little bit of experience. You'll wouldn't surprise me. They'll say, "Go pay the fee," and you'll literally stay with one guy the whole day or whatever, and they'll give you a gun. All right, so it's not NRL; it's PRX. Or no, wait, is that Sure, I'm trying to think of what it is. It's the there's one that's more of a hunting one. That could be. Listen, find out the rule set. Send me the link to whatever information you got. I'll walk you through trying to find what you need to find. I may not be able to tell you the rule set, but I can get you. I'll help you figure out where you need to know, what you need to know. As far as that goes. But again, just show up the match. Yep, that's what I'm saying. You share it on Discord. I'll be more than willing to help you try to find whatever information you need. Right? I've looked at most of the different competitions out there. At least gave them consideration. Right? As far as like, is this something I'm interested in? Stuff like that. So, I mean, I have a general idea. No, there's always a big difference between a general idea and actually showing up and competing in what that given sport is, right? So, but yeah, I've shot, like the 22, which is basically the PRS 22. They called it. Usually it's called NRL 22. But yeah, and I think NRL is National Rifle League, so I don't necessarily think it could be National Rimfire League. I'm not sure. It's been a while since I've looked at that.
They do have a PRS that is 22 as well.
Yeah, so normally what I would refer to as NRL 22 is they run the same stages every month, right? So
Right.
They have a setup of stages at given distances, usually under 100 yards or maybe out to 200, whatever it is. And the stages are designed so that way you can compete nationally while staying local, right? It is a very and every month there's a new set, right? And so they're you get a reasonable setup. Now, obviously, you're never going to have, if you've got a ladder as a thing, there's going to be a difference between, unless they have a specific ladder that you buy, there could be enough variation from ladder to ladder that could change things. Where one's a little more rickety than another or whatever, but they do a pretty good job of standardizing the stage design so that way you can compete nationally. Now, PRS, there's no standard stages. You're going to shoot a different stage at every match you go to. Even if you go to the same match multiple times, they're not going to, unless they leave the stage up, right? You're going to get a different stage on some level. So there are lots of options out there. But yeah, you should be able to find the rule set, at least understand what it is, knowing kind of what division you're going to end up in, stuff like that.
So, when he was talking about, who was it? Oh, Semper Parata 762 was talking about Redding, and then they were talking. Somebody had mentioned about using their 30-06, or the same stem as the 308 and 30-06. I went looking, and the first die box I came across was my 6.5 needs more. And so I took the stem up, because it comes with this is a Redding, and it comes with a micrometer stem and a regular stem. And so the regular stem was just sitting there, and it is considerably longer. So what I did is I checked to see how the bullet fits. And then I had one of the 5 that was already seated, that was seated long. And so what I did is I test seated, and lo and behold, bada bing, bada bam. Yes, there's a little ring. No, it's not going to make a friggin' difference, but it works just great. So now I can seat my bullets. So while you guys were talking about that, I was setting it up so it's set. Necessity is a mother of invention. Come on. Why are you not working? There we go. So now what I can do is I can take, and I can see my bullets. So you take your bullet, I've got my die set correctly now. So what I did is set it again with the neck, so it hit the neck. And then what I did is I put a bullet in there. Well, I already had one that had a bullet in it, but it was slightly long. So that saved me a lot of playing around. Obviously, I can't use the one I was trying to use as a dummy round, because that's not going to go in here. And it wouldn't work anyway, because it's not the right overall length anymore. But what I did is I took the seating stem out of the 6.5, which is longer. And after I seat these bullets, I'll show you. But it's, well, actually I can show you using the micrometer. So it also comes with a micrometer setup, which no, I'm not going to do. But as you can see, looking at the threads, you can see how much longer the 6.5 sticks out. Yes, it's smaller, but that's fine, because where I'm putting it on the bullet, you can see how it sits there versus this one was all the way down there. So that's a huge difference, and that's part of the reason why I won't see right. So, but that's what I'm doing to seat these 10 bullets right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ram this up, pull it out, and measure it. And we'll see where we're at. Now, I have to be careful on these because they have the polymer tip, and I don't want to squish the polymer tip. So I'm at 2.540, and it's the recommended seating depth is 2.535. I'm not going to dick around for 5,000ths. Not on hunting ammo. Would either of you two?
Nope.
Okay.
I'm probably not going to, even on target ammo, 5,000s.
Yeah.
because that could just be the variation in the bullet.
Right. Especially considering these are, just the basic. They're not even a premium bullet.
Well,
they
I
said
mean, the
they are.
polymer bullets are going to have 5,000s variants in them at the beginning.
Because
I'd be willing to bet that, if you turn around and just measure a bunch of bullets, you'd see quite a bit of variance.
Oh, I'm sure. So. So once you get everything set, it's pretty quick. And the nice thing is, with them being set at the correct seating, now the crimp will actually hit the cantilever versus the first couple that I did that I had already set because they weren't set. They weren't seated deep enough. So, by the way, just a side tip: if you actually spend the money and effort to get de-leading wipes, take them with you to the range when you're shooting 22. They don't do any good if they're sitting at home.
That's why they sat in the front seat of my car on the floor.
Do you have a problem with them drying out?
No.
Okay. Just curious.
At least not yet. I've had that container for several years because I don't always remember to use it, but
yeah. Yes, Clifford wants to know, just asking, would that be a reloader and not a hand loader by not turning in that 5,000ths of an inch? Yes. And we are doing basics, so yes, we are doing reloading, not hand loading. If I was hand loading, you're damn right I would be turning that 5,000ths. But I also would have put that bad boy on that 30-30 die just because. We should do that to Justin. Ken.
What?
Show me seeding 30-30 cartridges using the micrometer.
Some people do it already.
I know. It'd just be fun to watch them. So now what you want to do is you want to spin the lock ring because now your die is set. I obviously have more cases to charge and more bullets to seat. But by leaving that like that, it's all set. And because I turn this with the lock ring, I can spin this back down too. I'm not a fan of the knurl design on Lee's new, or their new lock ring stuff, but that's a pretty serious crimp. So maybe it'll show up. So that's a little too much. So I'm going to back that off just a smidge. Because I don't need that much of a crimp. So
Let's see here.
That's better. So.
All right. So this Raggle Fraggle. This is NRL Hunter Games. Okay, that's the one I was thinking it might be. So scenarios two, definitely. So I guarantee you, just looking at this, you're going to want a rangefinder. You're going to want a bolt action rifle, or at least a very accurate rifle. You will have to be. Oh no, let's see. This is another suppressor only match, so you have to have a suppressor. If Nick's hopes and dreams hold up, you'll be able to buy one here in a couple of days or sometime tomorrow, and not have to worry about any stamps or 3D print one. I'm not holding my breath on it. So
I'm not either, but if it is, yeah, I'm going to be printing a couple of cans.
Yeah. So it's an NRL Hunter. So essentially, I believe it's going to be an unknown distance. I mean, you'll know a match distance, but usually those are unknown distances. So you're going to range the target and stuff like that, and you're going to shoot it in a hunting style thing. Let's see, matches at arrowhunter.com. Yeah, so obviously read everything that there's a link in that for registration. Read everything there is in that. That'll tell you a lot.
He said he's got an integrally suppressed 6.5 Grendel.
Okay. I'm just going through this, reading through it.
Does it give a long distance?
3 stages, unique range layout, including our shoot house, multi-natural hunting scenarios. So you're going to go out to 800 yards. Most targets are within 400. A few extended targets to 800. Now, I will tell you one thing that the top shooters will tell you: don't stress about the long ones. Take your shots at them. Don't waste a lot of time on them.
Okay.
Round count will be 64 maximum. All right, so when they say 64 maximum, each stage is going to have a max number of times you can pull the trigger. So it's probably going to be somewhere between 8 to 10 shots, maybe 12. It's 8 stages, 64. So maybe not even that many. Might only be a handful. It's a one-day match. It's going to be fun. It looks like it's set up for anybody. So if you walk up and say, "Hey, I'm new. This is the gun I got," people are going to hand you stuff. Right? They're going to talk to you. Listen to what they say. Don't worry. Just you're going to focus on what they tell you when it comes to getting DQ'd, what you have to avoid. You avoid those things, you'll have a good time. You might not come in last. You might. It doesn't matter. I mean, if you're second to last, that's a win, right? You beat somebody, right? It's your first ever match, so that's okay, right? And even if you're dead last, did you have fun? By the way, most of the guys I've ever taken to a steel challenge match with me have never finished dead last. In fact, I don't think anybody I've brought with me finished dead last.
Nope, I didn't.
Not for lack of trying. But no,
Hey,
I mean, so
I didn't
don't
get
worry
DQ'd,
about
so-
how you finish.
Right.
It's about having fun. But in time, if you start to enjoy it, you become like me, and you get competitive. That's a different story. Now, how you place and how you shoot is a different thing. But for now, like starting out, it's all about fun. And even then, if I'm not enjoying myself at these matches, what the hell am I doing? Right? Oh, I'm winning matches, but I'm not enjoying it. Who cares? Right? Might as well do something better with my life and find something I actually enjoy. So yeah, just have a good time. Don't worry about it. This looks like a very good uh good match to start out with, especially because it seems to be almost it's not a true major match, what I would call a major match, but it seems to be a major match, right? So, but they're saying, hey, all skill levels, like including new competitors. So, the first thing you do is you want to show up early, right? You don't want to show up last minute. You want to show up. I mean, you don't have to be like a half hour before registration opens, but you want to be there within probably 10 or 15 minutes, no later than 10 or 15 minutes after registration opens. Right. And they're usually going to have registration open for an hour. Let's see, RO shoot day, main hunter day. It's TBD, so I can't tell you what time to show up. But you've got some time to zero your rifle, stuff like that. So make sure your gun's under 16 pounds. I'm guessing your gun's under 16 pounds. Most will be. But bring what you got. Even if you can't necessarily like your gun doesn't classify, as long as it's considered safe, they might let you shoot anyways, right? Like so you're 17, you just won't shoot for score, which is fine. Shoot, have fun, you know. But the key thing is find out where the registration is, get there at a reasonable time. In fact, even if I would recommend being there before registration opens, but being there no later than 10 to 15 minutes after registration opens. Um, at least for your first minutes, because you're going to go up and you're going to say, "Hi, I'm new. I don't know anything." That is going to be, and at that point, they're like, "Oh, okay, great." And they're going to pair you with somebody. They're going to make sure your ROs know that you're new. They're gonna help you out. If they don't, please let me know. I will call them out on this because that's crap. I doubt it would happen. Um, not on new shooters because you show up, you're running these matches. We want as many people to show up at these matches.
Amen.
As competitors, the more people that show up, the more money that is in the sport, the better the sport's going to do. The more matches we're going to get to go shoot. All of that, right? And yeah, sure, it helps with the prize tables on the end of the at the end of the day too when there are prize tables, but it's not about the prize tables. Um, in fact, personally, I think that all prize tables should be random. I don't think top shooters should get everything. Now, a lot of top shooters depend on that because they use that to help fund their top being a top shooter. But I'm of the opinion that what the new gun should go to honestly should go to the guy that needs it, right? Yes, would I like to win a new gun? Yeah, oh, absolutely. And I'll take it. I'm not going to complain about it. I won essentially a receiver. It was a gun, but it was just a Ruger Mark IV. It wasn't Ruger. I can't remember the name of the company. I won it a couple years back. You know, built the rest of the gun out. I mean, all it was literally the barrel and the receiver. If you know that, Ruger, the Mark IVs and Mark IIIs, the gun itself is actually the upper versus the lower. Um, so not the frame. Um, So yeah, it would be. And I personally, at these matches, I think that I like you walk in now. If you want to do a random draw and you get to walk the prize table at your ceremony, that's cool. Or a grab bag at the end of it, And I say that just having won $50 at a match, but that was a little different, and the way they did it, because cash prize is a little different than say a sponsored table, right? These companies put stuff on the table for shooters to use. You know, I'm usually a big fan. I like in Skill Challenge. I like that the Rimfire Master, the Rifle Master, and the Steel Master are the three major things. Usually at a major match, if a club can do it, they pay cash prizes for that. So that gives incentives for those top guys to kind of go out, also competing in multiple divisions. So I like that. I think cash prizes are better for if you're gonna give a prize to a top shooter. The guy that already has the best prize on the table is a $400 Hunter's HD Gold gift certificate, and he pulls that off, and he's going to sell it to somebody for $200, right, or whatever, right, so they can get a discount or $100 or whatever. They'll take the cash, and that's nothing wrong with that, but the guy that doesn't have the set of Hunter's HD Gold that would absolutely love a set of Hunter's HD Gold glasses, getting it is better to me personally. But that's a match decision. That's not a sponsored decision. Stuff like that. I like the random prize table, or at least the randomized. The one time I walked a table where my position didn't matter. They were pulling names out of a hat, and they weren't doing it by rank, right? So everybody had a chance to walk that table, and everybody reasonably had a chance. There were three guns on it, one of which I would have liked to have gotten if I had got a chance to. The other two were nice guns, but there was nothing wrong with them. But I wouldn't have used them, so I was less worried about it. But yeah, read that, follow that link that's on there for the NRL Hunter. Read all that. Do some research on NRL Hunter matches. You're going to find videos that will tell you kind of what you need to know, what to expect. Now, you're going to know what to expect, and you're going to show up, and it's not going to be exactly what you expected. But you're not going to be blindsided by a lot. Hopefully that helps, Raggle.
So I did find a replacement seating stem. The correct one, it's $18. Otherwise, they also have a micrometer one that is $65, but I'm not going to get a micrometer one. So that's all the fun with seating stems. So yeah, I have a feeling they're going to appeal it too. So, but we can hope. So, but anyway, so Patriot Patch Company, Patch of the Month. August is always something to do with summer. Here is August Patch of the Month. Catching rays and dodging strays. So you get your patch and your sticker and Ryan's original drawing, which my camera doesn't want to focus on, so fuck it. So we got a turtle with nods, and I'm not exactly sure what the heck is supposed to be carrying, but it looks like a multi-barrel Gatling gun. Well, Gatling guns are multi-barrel by nature, but I'm not really sure what the heck that's supposed to be. Thoughts?
It's a minigun.
Okay. Then it looks like he's got it's supposed to be like a med kit on the side of it. I don't know, but anyway, so there's your patch of the month for August, and you can go to the link that's scrolling across the screen, or for those of you who are audio, firearmsradio.net/category/podcast/reloading-2. Join the Discord. So Eric, the main one that I will be firing these out of is Marlin 336. I think it's a CS. I'm not sure. But also for fun, I will be shooting out of my grandpa's Winchester Model 94, production date of 1949. So, just for kicks. I don't anticipate that they will shoot the same out of both rifles. So, but the current goal is to get a load that shoots well in the 336. And then once I get that, then I'm going to make up some special hunting rounds with his ashes in them and take him out and see if I can get a deer. So, since he didn't get one with it when he was alive, I'm going to take him out with that. So, that's the goal. So, we'll see. But that about covers it for tonight. So, I don't know what we're going to talk about next week. So, we're not going to start the hand loading portion until after Labor Day. So, But we'll figure out something to talk about next week. Any suggestions, send us an email. reloadingpodcast@gmail.com. You can send us a text or text or a voicemail at 608-467-0308. If you want to join us on Discord, send me an email, reloadingpodcast@gmail.com, and I'll get you the link. I do not post the Discord link anywhere because we did it once and we got nothing but spammers. So I'm not doing that again. So, anyway, that's about it for now. Anybody else got anything?
Nope.
If you're looking for camouflage to go hunting with this fall, swing over to Camerado.com. Use coupon code RELOAD for 5% off. If you're swinging over to Patriot Patch Company and you're looking for other stuff other than the patch of the month, you can use coupon code FRN and save 10%. So, for those of you who are We Like Shooting fans, the Cantina is back on Facebook. However, the Cantina is dead. So it is now dang it, the agency. So Agency 171. Facebook seems to have gotten a little bit more gun friendly. I don't really think so, but Sean thinks so. So he created Agency.
I would say yes, because like the amount of stuff that I'm seeing, gun related that before wouldn't even show up.
Okay. Well, that's good news then. That makes me happy. I mean, I know YouTube's backed off a little bit.
Quite a bit, I think.
So, because we've had 2 episodes where we've showed guns and it continued to stay on. And the last 4 times we did that was an automatic. We were done like 10 seconds after the gun was on there. So,
and I haven't heard of any other big channels getting strikes recently, really.
I know Sean. I know Sean's been having good luck. So, so Raggle Fraggle, the 3D printing is going better. And we figured it out. So here is this 3030 shell plate. Or not shell plate, but whatever. Brain fart. But that so that turned out really nice. I think we finally figured it out. So I wrapped the whole thing in aluminum foil to kind of create an enclosure with it, other than the top, because of the way the 5M feeds. It comes over the top, and it's got a Bowden tube that slides back and forth, so I couldn't really close that off. I tried using a tripod over it with my welding blanket that I used on my smoker, but that didn't work any well. It smelled really nice, though. So, yeah, I don't know. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Oh, hey, Ken. Look it.
Okay.
Since you talked about it earlier, since you mentioned it, that is the 6.5 by 284 that Ken was talking about earlier that I have. And the reason I have it is because it's shot out. I've run the camera down it before and showed it. So, but anyway, on that note, gang,
chamber and that 6.5 Creedmoor if you want it.
Well, I've got the.
It might not have enough twist. It might be. I don't know what the twist rate is in it. So.
Yeah. No. If anything, I just have. If it's got enough, I might just have them recut the throat.
You would have to. You'd have to rechamber it.
So. Well, there's a rumor, and I haven't really bothered to care, but there's a rumor that you can basically just rechamber it, but you're chambering it deeper, and then just cutting threads off for the head spacing. But I don't really care enough to figure it out right now if it can or cannot be done. So, but anyway, no, I've had those 6.5 by 284 dies for 15 years, and I was going to build a gun at one time. I wonder. Hey Nick, any idea if that's the same bolt face as 7 by 57?
What is 6.5 by 284?
Yeah.
It's a 308 bolt.
I don't know. Be cool if it was.
Well, it is.
Oh, it is the same?
Yeah, it's a rebated case and it's got a 308. So 284 is a non-magnum bolt face. It's got a rebated case. The 6.5 284 is just a 284 neck down to
6.5.
6.5.
Yeah, it would work.
Sweet.
You'd be better off. Honestly, you'd just be better off to buy the barrel you need.
Well, no, because I have this. Oh, I can't get it out right now. I bolted down my square deal B right here, so all the guns that I have back there are pinned back there now. But I have that Mauser that I picked up that I'm pretty sure is in 7 by 57. That's got the void stock on it. That I was going to rebarrel, so that'd be a fun one to rebarrel. Anyway, don't care. Not going to do anything with it right now. So, and no, I wouldn't rebarrel that anyway. The reason I asked for that barrel is so I could use it for demonstrations, because you were just going to chuck it anyway. So, but hey,
no, it's not worth rebarreling. It's not worth rechambering.
No, it's not. So it's not that fancy of a barrel. So, at any rate, gang. On that note, keep your brass shiny.
Jump on the mill short bus.
Take somebody to the range with you.
JT Schwinghammer, we were printing with PLA. Silk PLA to be specific. I was printing a couple of things that out on the corners would pull up, and it's because it was cool. So I just reprinted, after I made my aluminum foil enclosure, I reprinted one of the things that I was having a really bad problem with, and it came out fine. So, but yeah. So BG Nagy is 3D printing so with the Flash Forge. David, I actually had it out earlier this morning, or early this evening. Oh, I know which one you're talking about. Not the Lee one. Crap, where's my FW arms? Or not my FW arms. Is it? Is it in here? Nope, it's not in here, damn it. Who was that? Was it FW Arms? Yeah, I think it was. Who's the other one? The guy that went psycho. Anybody remember?
I don't. I know Will's not in business anymore because he sold all his patents to Dylan.
Oh, Will did?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that sucks. Interesting. Well, I suppose he made a fortune.
Yeah.
Can't blame him for that. So, but yeah, FW Arms was the so. Oh, you still got a website.
Yeah, but there's nothing on there.
Yep, 404. Yeah, the only thing he's got on here is shell plates for Dylan's and the Lee Universal decapping pins. Okay. So, yeah, it was FW Arms. Oh, yeah, Mighty Armory is the one I was thinking about that went nuts. Yeah, he's the one that went off the rails. Supposedly he's apologized and pulled his head out of his rectum, but his stuff wasn't very good to begin with, so I don't care. Anyway, yeah, so FW Arms, I've got it around here somewhere. I don't know where though, so now I got to go find it. But anyway, as we were saying, make sure you sort. Goodness, I haven't even been drinking, gang. That's the worst part. Not a drop of alcohol in over a week. Maybe that's the problem. So, make sure you're supporting the Second Amendment and organizations support the Second Amendment. We're all talking about out of the Fifth Circuit. I'm pretty sure they're going to appeal that, but we can hope. Anyway, so we had primaries here today. I haven't looked to see what's going on with it yet, but the fall elections are coming. Make sure you're paying attention. Make sure you're paying attention to who you're voting for and what they're standing for. Politicians are like diapers. They should be changed frequently and usually for the same reasons. Most importantly, gang, 988 or 1-800-273-8255 if you're struggling. Reach out, get some help. There's lots of places out there. If you're looking for just somewhere to kind of start and you want to try and remain anonymous, or you're not sure what's going on, Walk the Talk America's got some good information, and more importantly, they have some kind of they have, like, it's not really necessarily a self-diagnosis, but they've got some quizzes you can do that kind of give you an idea of maybe what you're going through. Maybe it's not as bad as you think it is. That's the other thing. So, but yeah, support politicians who are supporting the Second Amendment, support organizations that are supporting the Second Amendment, that are especially the ones that are filing these lawsuits. Citizens for the Right to Keep and Bear Arms and Second Amendment Foundation, yearly memberships are $15. NRA is, I think, if you catch it right, you can get it at like $35. I don't know about GOA. I want to say is 35 or 50. I don't know what FPC is. Unfortunately, the government, you get to use our money and against us, where we have to come up with money to pay for the court costs. So it's kind of a double screw, which is why elections are important and elections have consequences. So get off your ass, get registered, and go frickin' vote. So